Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Django web applications how to create a searchable drop-down list using jQuery with Select2 plugin. So notice here we got the select colors. Let's search for pink. So here we got pink. We want to search for white, yellow. That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a new Django web applications, first we'll check a table and the column name I want to bind into a select option element. I just logged into my PHP my admin database, which is MySQL. The table name is a colors, which contains two columns. The ID column is auto-generated column, and the second column name is a color name, which contains some colors. Now my aim is I want to bind this color name into select option element using Django web applications. So let's create a new Django web application. When we want to create a new Django web application, first we require a new folder. So let's create a new folder in this local disk D drive. Select the right click the mouse, select new, and then select folder. And the folder name is DDL jQuery Select2 is my folder name. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is totally empty. Now we'll create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a new Django web application, but before that we'll add the folder name which we have created in the local disk D drive. For that, open file, then click open folder, and the folder name is a DDL jQuery Select2. I have selected that one, then select folder button. And here the folder is successfully added to our Visual Studio Explorer panel. At the right side we got a welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now I'll create a new web application in this folder. For that, go to view, then select terminal. And here we got our terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt. If you notice, the path is the folder name and the D drive. Let's create a new Django web application. Django-admin start project. To create a project, we need to add start project. Then let's add the project name DDL searchable. Search. Enter. DDL search is my application name. And you notice DDL search, the application is successfully created in this folder. Let me expand this application. If you notice, in this application contains one subfolder and one manage.py. Let me expand the subfolder also. Now in the subfolder contains some Python files, settings.py, urls.py. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I created this folder DDL search application. Now after that, when we want to render the Django applications, we require one special folder called templates. Let's add a template folder to our application. Select the application name, right click the mouse, click new folder, and the folder name is a templates. Enter. Now in this templates folder contains all my HTML files. So again, let's add the HTML files. Click new file, index.html. The web page name is index. Enter. And here we got our index.html page. Now before adding the designing part in this HTML page, first we'll add one models page in our subfolder. Right click the subfolder, click new file. The file name is a models.py. Enter. And here we got our models.py page. Now in this models page contains a class with some properties and class name, our table name. So let's add before creating a properties, first we require the necessary a class. So let's import that one from Django.db import models class. After that, let's define a class display ddl drop-down list models.model, m is capital here, colon. Now in this class I'm defining the properties, so we require one variable. So if we check in our table, we have two columns, ID and color name. So ID I don't require because it's auto-generated column, so I require the color name. So let's add that one. Color name is equals to models dot, the data type is a char field, max underscore length, the size is equals to 100. After that, we'll add a meta class. Meta class contains db underscore table is equals to, the table name is colors table. Let's copy that colors table and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now the next step, we'll add views page. Again, right click the subfolder, click new file, views.py, and here we got the views.py page. Now in this views.py contains the logic to display the records from the database. So before that, we need to import the necessary classes from Django.shortcuts import render class. When we want to render the HTML pages on the browser, we require this render class. After that, we require the class name from these models. So let's copy this display ddl, the class name. This models page is inside our subfolder ddl search. This is my application name. Then add the models, import the class name from the models page. After that, let's define a function. The function name is colors function. Colors, here I'm adding the request, request, request. This function return, I want to render method takes two parameters. The first one is a request and the second parameter is the template name, which is our HTML page name, index.html. Then the data we are getting from this models page from this class. So here first display colors is an object is equals to, I'm adding the class name of the models dot objects dot all method. Now in the render method, the third parameter, I'm adding the dictionaries between double quotes. A dictionary contains the keys and values. Here the key value is the model class name display ddl, and the values we are getting from this display colors from this object. So paste here. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now after that, we require the URLs also. Let's open the URLs. In the URLs page, first let's import the views page from import views. And in the URLs pattern, let's add the path after single quotes, comma, views dot. I want to render this index.html page. So I want to, with the help of colors function, I am rendering this HTML page. So let's add the function name of the views. Save this file. That's it. We have configured the URL also. Next, the most important, we need to configure the settings. Let's open settings.py. In the settings.py, first we need to install our application name. So in the install underscore apps, add single quotes, our application name is DDL search. DDL search. After adding the application name, then come to the template section. In the template section, notice the directories section here. I want to join the base directory with our templates. So os.path.join method, not here. Not here. Here. os.path.join method, and this join method I'm adding the base directory, comma, between single quotes I'm adding the templates, the folder name. All my HTML pages are inside this template, so I'm adding these templates here. Now the final step, in this settings.py we need to configure our database connection string. If you notice the database, the default configuration is a SQLite3 database, but our database is MySQL. Then the name, let's delete this default line. Here the name is our database name. Switch over to our database. Our database name is a SampleDB. Let's add that one, SampleDB. Then we require the user also. The user name is root, comma, password. In the password, I'm leaving blank because I don't have any password to log into my PHP my admin database. If you have any password, please enter between these single quotes. Then we require the host of our server. Here the host is localhost. Then we require the port number of our database. The SQL database, MySQL database port number is 3306. Let's add that number here, 3306. And the final one, we require the options, colon, between curly brackets, single quotes, init underscore command, colon, again, and now between double quotes I'm setting SQL mode, SQL underscore mode is equals to single quotes strict underscore trans underscore tables. Add the comma here. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now the final step, we need to bind the database in this index.html. So doc type, I'm closing the HTML element. After that I'm adding the header section. Inside the header section I'm adding the title. Title is just searchable dropdown. After the header section, I am adding the body tag. Inside the body tag, I am adding the center tags. Now in the center tags, I am adding the headings H1, how to create a searchable drop-down list using jQuery Select2 in Django application. After that, I am adding horizontal line. Now, after the horizontal line, I am adding the select tag, and this select tag contains the options. Option 1, I'm adding colors. Select colors. Let's add the select colors. And this option is the, here the option name is on OPTION. and this option selected disabled is equals to true. And the next options I want to display these color names. So here I am adding the for loop percentage for result is an object in. I am adding the class name of the models, which is a display DLL. Copy that one, paste here. Let's close the for loop after the option and for we need to add curly brackets. Now in the option I am adding the expression between double curly brackets, result dot. We need to add the column name, which is a color name. That's it. Up to now we have just binded the color names into this drop down list. Up to now we have displaying the colors in the drop down list select option element. But before adding the jQuery Select2 functionality, first let's save this file. We'll check the output, how it looks on the browser. Python manage.py run server, enter. Oops, we need to add our application name here. So cd, I'm adding my application name to the path. Then we need to add the Python manage.py run server. And after run the server, notice we don't have any issues. Below that, it's our web server link. Control plus mouse click to browse this application. And here we got the output of that application, which contains the header tags h1, h2, horizontal line, and after the horizontal line we have added the select option element, which is a drop down list. Let me open this select option element. See, we got all the color names from this database. Now let's implement the searchable drop down list using jQuery with Select2 plugin. So when we are implementing the jQueries, we require the latest jQuery CDN link. So for that, let's open new tab and search for jQuery latest CDN Google, enter. And after the search results, I'm selecting the hosted libraries. And from the Google hosted libraries, notice the script here. Let's copy this. This is the latest CDN link of the jQuery. Copy that one and paste in our header section after the title tag. Now after adding the jQuery CDN, now we require the Select2 plugin also. So for that, let's open another tab, Select2 CDN.js, enter. And from the search results, I'm selecting the first option, Select2 CDN.js. All the jQuery plugins are free open source, so we can use without any license. And here we got the CDN2 for the Select2 plugin. The version I'm using 4.0.12. The JS script, I'm selecting the select2.min.js. Let's copy script tag and paste here. After that, we require the CSS also. Again, switch back. Now let's click the CSS tab. This is the min.css. Link tag, copy link tag and paste here. That's it. Now let's add the script tag and close the script. Now insert the script. First, in the select element, let's declare the id is equals to select color. Now in the script, let's add the id of this select dollar document dot ready function add the semicolon here, dollar, between single quotes I'm adding the select ID, which is a select color. When we are adding IDs in the jQuery, we need to prefix with hash. Then we need to add the ID dot. I want to implement the Select2 function. Select2 function. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now we'll check the output. Go to the browser. I'm reloading the browser. Notice here we got the Select2 search option. If I type here BLSCK black, let's increase this width of this drop down list. Style is equals to width colon 300 pixels. Let's save this file. Let's save this file. Save all. I'm reloading the browser. So notice here we got the select colors. Let's search for pink. So here we got pink. We want to search for white, yellow. That's it. In Django applications, we have created the searchable drop-down list using jQuery Select2 plugin.